Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm the Angel PT, and for today what I have in here it is Tower of Time. So Tower of Time, it is a game developed by the Event Horizon and it is using Unity 5 engine. Possibly this is not the first time that you see a video about Tower of Time on my channel, because Tower of Time, I tested the game when it was on early access. The developer sent me out the copy and the game was released like some days ago, and so I decided to benchmark the game with the full version to compare its results. So for now, as far as I noticed, the performance is a little bit worse comparing to my first benchmark, but I didn't really done the same steps, so possibly that might be the reason. But overall the performance is either the same or just a little bit worse. The only thing disappointing about the performance is it continues to be on the same state of the early access. I mean, there is a lot of options that you can work around. I mean, you can select ultra, high, medium, low or very low, but you can't select like custom setting. You can select like anti-aliasing, or you can select texture quality. So basically it's the only option pretty much you get is to choose between ultra, high, medium, low or very low, and you get like an option for VSync, resolution, and for high quality particles. It's the only settings you get, and as you can see on this graphic and information, the performance doesn't really change that much between all the settings, which is, well, a little bit disappointing. I tried to achieve 60 frames per second, but unfortunately it wasn't really possible in a very stable way. It seems that there is some bottleneck coming from my CPU, but yeah, the game could be a little bit better optimized on that regard. But anyway, it's not groundbreaking, the game runs fine, and so in this video what you are seeing is the game playing at ultra settings. So one of the things that I want to mention in here is that when you use, for example, low settings, medium settings, high settings or ultra settings, your VRAM usage will be around the 2 gigabytes of VRAM, so the VRAM gets full, and the RAM usage jumps to something like 5 gigabytes of RAM. So at any case, if you drop the game to very low resolution, to very low settings, what will happen is the game starts to use low quality assets, so low textures. So when you do this, the VRAM usage drops to 1.5 gigabytes of VRAM, and also the RAM usage gets below the 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's a little bit unfortunate because if they had like custom settings, we could possibly ramp up many of the settings like shadows and stuff like that, and possibly reduce the texture quality in order to prevent the VRAM to get full, and so we would get less stuttering. But unfortunately the game just allows us to select like very low, low, medium, high, or very high settings or ultra. So there is not too much so much customizability of the settings. I'm not sure even if this word exists. So anyway, let me just promote one thing on my channel. So I've decided to create a playthrough about Manhunt on my secondary channel. My secondary channel is about playthroughs, and where I play the games like pretty much a lot of gaming channels existent on the YouTube, and so I'm promoting this because I really need some subscribers there and some viewers, and somewhat if you are interested in Manhunt, it's old games, and if you are interested in seeing it, I'm just here to say that you can check it out. There is a link on the description. And that playthrough, basically what I've done is I completed the game with the maximum difficulty, and I was able to get 5 stars in all the levels, so basically I completed the game at 100%. So for some reason, if you are playing Manhunt, because it was available on an Humble Bundle recently, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, and if you are playing the game and you have some trouble to finish some level at 5 stars, you can check out my video because I have everything there. But let's forget about that, let's focus now on Tower of Time. So there are some things that did change from the early access to the full release version, like it was expectable. And one of the things that I think it was very important is that on these combat scenarios, one of the things that I noticed is you can now pause the game. This is one of the major complaints from the community. People before, I mean, on the early access, were complaining about that because the only thing you could be allowed to do was to engage in slow motion mode. But right now you are able to pause the game in order for you to think about what you do and to set the amount of skills that you want to use on certain enemies, so allow you to be a little bit more tactical with the fighting system. While on the early access, using slow motion sometimes never worked and you needed to be quick, so people complained about that anyway, and the developers listened to the community and they added an option for you to pause the game, use the slow motion, or well, whatever, or just don't use anything. So there is a lot of things that did change. They completed the last levels of the game. Everything is simply finished right now on regarding the game, and I guess that's it. The game is finished. There was a lot of stuff added to the game, but for me, this thing of allow us to choose if we want to pause the game or use the game on slow motion, for me was the biggest difference. Well, the secondary big difference is that on my first video on the early access, I was able to fight and win on every combat, and right now I loaded my save game from the early access test that I have performed now with the full version, and I'm not really able to win anything, so the game seems to be much more difficult, and I think that thing was one of the main complaints of the game, that it was too easy. But right now I think it's really difficult, but this type of games is not really my beach, so I believe that possibly enthusiasts about this game are now having a much better time with a much more challenging game than before. So I guess that's all about Tower of Time. It was a very quick video, so hope you did enjoy the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Thank you a lot for watching.